David Smith here with yet another flipped classroom math video. Today's topic, problem of the week, SubDivvy, solution and self-assessment. Let's get started. So by now you've probably played SubDivvy several times. You might have an idea about how to have a winning strategy so that you can win every time. Part of that is to understand whether you need to go first to win every time or whether you could go second and win every time. So this is about learning how to play an optimum game. And you can do that. If you know how to win and you start first or go second, you can win every time. But it's up to you to figure that out. I'm here to tell you how to write up your solution section. And that's kind of important because the solution has the most points of any of the sections in your POW. I will be sharing with you guidelines and the grade sheet that I use to grade your POW. So you don't have to worry about taking notes on this because it's all in this document. I will go over this in a later video. Okay, solution. This is the heart of the POW. This is where you explain what you learned and what your strategy is for winning every time. So let's go over some key points. Strategy for winning, including an analysis of starting numbers. So if you read the POW where the problem is set up or look at the guidelines, you'll see that you're asked to come up with a way to win perhaps every time. So I'm hoping that as you've played this game with your partner, that you've noticed some things, some patterns that allow you to do that, okay? Second thing, explain how that strategy works and use examples, okay? You don't have to start at 100 with your example. You can start at lower numbers so you don't have to write out a million steps, but you do need to show how your strategy works and use an example to show that how that happens. Finally, your explanations have to be clear and understandable. Your target audience, just so you know who you're writing for, would be a student just like you who's taking this class even, but hasn't yet seen the POW. Okay? So you can assume all that prior knowledge that you have and that general level of understanding that you have. Okay? Let's do the next section. Okay, let's talk about the last section of your POW report, the self-assessment. The first thing you do is explain what you learned from this POW. Everybody probably learned something different. So go into what you did, think about what was tough for you, what you had to push through, what you learned. Okay? It could be anything connected with the work we did with this POW. Okay? Doesn't have to be the math, but it could be the math. Second thing, give yourself a letter grade. Look at your overall work. Look at what you learned, look at how hard you worked, and give yourself a letter grade. I will grade your work using my grade sheet. That's the grade that stays in the grade book, but it's important for you to learn to assess your own work, okay? Third thing, justify your letter grade, okay? So while you can mention how hard you worked when you justify the grade, that's not the only thing that you use to justify a grade. Saying, I worked really hard, but maybe you never even did the write-up, you can't give yourself an A just for working hard. So talk about your new learning, talk about the challenges you faced, talk about what you overcame. So make sure you justify that grade. The last thing is look at the whole picture of your work on the POW and identify an area where you could do better for your next POW. This could be anything. Some people might say, I need to start earlier. Some people might say, I need to remember to ask for help. Some people might say, I need to learn to be calm when I'm working on a challenging math problem. Whatever that might be for you, identify that area. The last video on this POW will talk about the guidelines and the grade sheet. If you follow those, that's the best way to get your best grade, so don't miss that one. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give me a like down below or subscribe.